This meeting is called to order. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To welcome everyone to our meeting this evening, and we'll get started by approving our agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as presented? I would like to add a closed session at the end of the agenda for an employee issue. Is that satisfactory?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Is there a motion, please, to approve the agenda as amended?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you, Terry. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes, and we'll proceed with our amended agenda. And our first order of business tonight is the budget hearing for the 26-27 proposed budget, and that budget hearing is now in session. And we welcome our Finance Director, Paula Johnson, and our Business Manager, Sammy Stevens. Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Ed and Superintendent Edwards. The best thing about a budget hearing is we get to present first. Tonight we're going to cover highlights from the 26-27 budget packet that you have. As we touched on 2 weeks ago, the House, the Governor, and the Senate have all proposed the same increase for next year at the $250 per pupil. We do know that they negotiated on Father's Day, they negotiated on June 13th, and they are close. They've worked out their issues. There's a framework that's been set. They are in session today, they're in session tomorrow. I'm also hearing that they're going to be in session on July 1, so hopefully by Wednesday we'll know what our budget is. I do know that Senator Matt Hall has stated that a deal does exist, but he doesn't want to break the confidence of the negotiations, and he won't share the details. So we're back to the not knowing very much information, and we just have to wait until it's all said and done. This next slide shows you the trend of our enrollment dating back to the 2020-21 school year. You can tell that we've declined almost every year since COVID, and we have not rebounded from that decline. We are budgeting to be down slightly for next year again. On the revenue side for the general fund, we did build in the $250 per increase, budgeting at $10,300 per student. We're budgeting on a blended enrollment of 8,523.62 FTE. This is a 90-10 blend from spring and fall, where this is down just under 17 FTE from the 25-26 school year. We are a Headley rollback district on our operating taxes, so we cannot levy the full 18 mills on the property tax bills. We are levying 17.5695 mills for next year, and that did not roll back any further. It stayed that way now for a few years. That reduction in the rollback means that the district does not collect approximately $460,000 in operating taxes. We're very fortunate to have 2 millages that run through KRESA that come to the district. The first one being the special education millage that was renewed just recently this past May for a 10-year duration. We will receive approximately $7.4 million from the special education millage, and we are also fortunate to have the enhancement millage that was renewed in May of 2023 for a 5-year duration, and we will receive $4.4 million. I do want to note that there are a few categoricals that are not built into this budget, and that's the 27L4 categorical. That was a MIPSR's healthcare offset funding that the district received last in the 25-26 school year. That was to replace the 147A1 funding that sunsetted at the end of the 24-25 school year. We also will not see the 27L2, the educator compensation categorical on the revenue side going into next year.
Continuing on with revenues, this is your visual of the revenues. We're expecting to end 26-27 with $124,843,563 in revenue. This revenue is just down about $3 million from the amendment that we brought to you 2 weeks ago tonight. A lot of that decrease in revenue is comprised of local and state resources that we're expecting to be down. Those few state categorical that Paula has mentioned, the 27L4, the decrease in 147A1, the 22L2 for educator compensation, that would be a decrease of 1.2 million, and then we've also got 147G, and that's a decrease of $185,000 in revenue. State sources will continue to be our largest source of funding, but it is still unknown what we will receive as a district from the state. Federal sources are down. This is primarily due to our title funding coming in lower. When they come in to us at the beginning of the year, they are lower than typical because we're still waiting on the federal fiscal year to close. We also receive carryover from funding that might not have been fully used the previous year, but goes straight back into that title funding. We'll more than likely see an increase in that area for our first amendment once we get our final allocations along with carryover. All right, moving on to expenses. We have built in compensation and benefit increases, as you all are, as we've spoken about before. The remainder of the 2026 insurance costs are known, but the 2027 insurance costs are unknown. So we did budget for an increase in expenses there, along with in compensation area, of course. 2 unsettled contracts still with the bus drivers and the parapros. We are negotiating with them currently. We are going to see a slight decrease in retirement, and that decrease is because of the rates at the state going down. So we've got that decrease in the UAAL, along with a small decrease in 5 different retirement plans at the state. 31AA sunsets on September 30th of 2026. And I would like to also mention that we did add a couple of some FTE increases for services that we provide to our multi-language learners for up to 2.5 FTE. This next one is a visual of your expenses. We're expecting expenses to be at $131,859,635. Salaries and benefits have been our biggest increase for this budget. Compensation alone is up $3.3 million from Amendment 2. And we need to keep in mind that Amendment 2 includes the 27L2 and the 147G payment, which we received funding for from the state. So once we remove those 2 categoricals because they were in and out, compensation did increase by $4.42 million with this budget. Fringe benefits are also expected to increase by just over $700,000 for this preliminary budget. As their compensation goes up, we have fringe benefits such as FICA retirement increase as well. There was an increase in purchase service by $764,000. That's another big part of our budget. A lot of that carries the people that support our district as well. So that's something to keep in mind within the purchase service. We're also seeing a decrease in supplies. That's primarily due to grant spending that we received in 25-26 that we aren't going to be receiving in 26-27. That includes 35A5, 35J, and 31AA. This next slide is the visual of where our dollars really go in the district. All of these areas have fluctuated from Amendment 2, but it still goes to show that over 76% of our budget makes up our instructional services and supports and staff, which is up 1.68% from the Second Amendment. And these are all areas that directly are tied to the classroom. So whether that be staff, services, software, supplies, you name it, it sits in that area. We can expect these areas to go up and increase and kind of fluctuate as we head into the amendments in 26-27.
This next slide shows where the district actually ended the 24-25 school year based on our audit. Our unassigned fund balance was sitting at 20.36% of our budget. 2 weeks ago, we brought you Amendment 2 for the 25-26 school year, showing expenditures exceeding revenues by approximately $3.5 million, which would drop our fund balance down to 17.40%. On the far right column shows our preliminary 26-27 budget, where expenditures exceed revenues by approximately $7 million, which would bring down our unassigned fund balance to 12.67%. I would like to note to the board that this still falls in line with board policy executive limitations 2.4 and 2.5, where we at least have 7% on hand of unassigned fund balance.
This next slide is your visual representation of our projected unassigned fund balance. The final fund balance for 25-26 won't be final until November when we receive back the audit, and then 26-27 won't be final until the following November. So that's just something to keep in mind. While we remain above the board's 7% fund balance requirement, it's important that we begin looking at beyond this current fiscal year. The anticipated 2.5% foundation increase foundation allowance increase provides insight into the state's current economic outlook and a long-term funding capacity. This represents the smallest proposed foundation allowance increase in the last 5 years without a significant categorical funding increase to help offset that. Because as we've said in previous years, we've received some of those categoricals to help with that foundation allowance increase. This proposed increase falls below the district's ongoing increases, including salaries and wages, employee benefits, utilities, insurance, and contracted services. If state funding continues with modest per pupil foundation allowance increases, the district will need to reevaluate its long-term financial sustainability, which may include staffing levels through attrition and vacancies, operational efficiencies, and the long-term affordability of negotiated salary and benefit agreements. Our goal is to maintain the district's financial stability, while continuing to provide high-quality educational opportunity for our students. Enrollment has continued to decline since the 2020-2021 school year, with a decrease of approximately 332 students over the last 5 years. Growth in student enrollment would increase foundation allowance revenue, and it would further strengthen the district's long-term financial outlook. While there are certainly challenges ahead, including state funding levels and enrollment trends, we're not necessarily sounding an alarm, but we're definitely recognizing these trends early so that we can make informed, proactive decisions. Our responsibility is to ensure that Portage Public Schools remains financially strong not only today, but for many years to come. As we look ahead, we know there are factors we can't control, such as the state's economy and future funding decisions, but what we can control is our commitment to providing an exceptional educational experience that attracts and retains students. Every student who chooses Portage Public Schools strengthens not only our financial future, but also our schools, our programs, and our communities.
Leaving the general fund, moving into the building site and sinking fund area, there are 2 building site and sinking fund resolutions included in your packet. Fund 41 is the previous 2019 building site and sinking fund. That sinking fund no longer levies a property tax component. It will receive delinquent property tax collections. We are spending funds from that fund according to approved building site and sinking fund projects. We do plan to purchase the land for the new Angling Elementary from the building site and sinking fund. Fund 42 in your packet is the 2024 building site and sinking fund, and that fund has also seen a small rollback in millage levy. It's a different calculation than the operating levy, but we are rolling back from 0.4980 mils to 0.4973 mils. We will continue to use funds from this fund for approved ballot language items. And for example, a couple of the major projects that we plan to do for next year are replacing Chromebooks and purchasing a new maintenance vehicle. Moving on to the food service fund. The food service fund is planning to have excess expenditures over revenues. This is due to the planned excess fund balance spend down that MDE has approved. We plan to refresh the serving areas at the Northern High School and purchase the equipment for the kitchens at the new Woodland and Amberley schools with this excess fund balance. We've built the budget based on free breakfast and lunch. Also, the legislators are working to make breakfast and lunch part of Michigan law instead of it having to be approved into the budget each year. Also included on that school services resolution are the school activities, which are a lot of our clubs and some of the sports that happen in there. Those are very fluid funds. It's really tricky to budget for everybody that's in there. And then also included is the bookstore fund for Central High and Northern High. Finally, the debt retirement fund. This is levying 6.85 mils. It remains unchanged from previous years. We now have 5 issuances that are encompassed into this debt retirement fund. The 2016, the 2019, the 2021, the 2025, and the 2026 issuances will all have a combination of principal and interest payments that will be made May 1st and November 1st.
We would be happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
So just to refresh our memories, the unassigned fund balance included some funds that were from federal money that came in during COVID or not?
That sits
That's
aside.
not it. Okay, that's assigned.
Yep.
Okay, thanks. And then, do we have our declining enrollment? Is there any theory about what that's attributed to, baby bust or what?
So the declining enrollment is not unique to Portage.
Right,
Public
that's
Schools.
what,
And so if you were to look at the state's overall public school enrollment, that has also declined since COVID. Obviously, there is a declining birth rate
right.
across our country. We believe those are driving factors related to enrollment decline. So if you throw in declining birth rate, not just in our community, but declining birth rate across the state of Michigan, this is a trend that many school districts are faced with.
I have a question about the bonds, and I know sometimes we're able to retire them early. So I'm just curious, say looking back at the 2016, do they still have years and years to go? Like a decade or a decade and a half ago?
They still have time to go before we can go through the refinancing of the
Yeah.
reissuance, so,
Then I'm assuming all those more recent are in the same boat. We can't refinance them now.
we can't, they're not 10
We
years old.
can refinance every 10.
Every time.
Yeah.
I'd just like to make a comment. We had a 2.5% increase in foundation allowance for next year. Last year we had a 4% increase. And I'm just really pleased that in spite of the lower foundation allowance, we're going to be able to keep our commitments for all our contracts for this next year, because there are districts in the state facing deficits this year that cannot, negotiate a contract because they just don't have the funds. So I just want to give you a heads up for good stewardship of our funds here to allow us to keep our commitments to our folks. Any other comments from board members? Okay, then this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who has a question regarding the proposed budget? Sure.
I actually do. Of those 300 students that we've lost over the years, and you don't have the answers to this right now, but is there any research done on where they're all coming from to understand and maybe dig into it? Because while I work with many districts.
Where they're going.
Yeah, well, no, where they're coming from and dropping out.
Well, I think the question is really around kindergarten enrollment. So over time, your kindergarten classes get smaller, and by extension, your overall enrollment gets smaller. So it's not so much of kids necessarily leaving,
Okay.
because we also have students who come to us from other school
If
districts.
that's open enrollment dollars, and that's a different funding.
Well, no, it's open enrollment dollars is no such thing. Your total,
Different states, sorry.
your total monies you draw in comes from enrollment, whether they're inside your community or outside.
Yeah, that's Third Friday Counts is where you get that.
Correct. So we've seen a decline in our kindergarten enrollment.
So that 300 is specifically to kindergarten class size?
No, it's more than just that. I'm saying that's the metric that starts to decline, that shows the overall decline that you've seen on the slide. So for example, if you were to say pre-pandemic, hypothetically, if you were getting 600 kindergarten students and now you're getting 525, eventually that loss of 75 shows up in the larger number you see on the screen.
Okay. I was just wondering if there was a trend, because I'm sure you can see how many students leave the district
Correct.
each year. And as a registrar, we track this very closely to understand that stuff.
Yeah, once kids are with us, they're typically with us through graduation. We do lose some students from time to time for other circumstances, and we also gain students from other communities from time to time. But our trend record, our graduation rate of over 95% shows us that our kids, once they're in our community, in our district, they're here for the long haul. There are some exceptions to the rule.
And I just think that as a community, we should be looking into that though, because we do lose, and I can think of at least 15 families in the last 2 years that have left our district.
Thank
So
you.
that's something that I think we should look into, because that right there is $150,000 that we need to be thinking about that have left our district. And there's people here who are going to be speaking about stuff.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience that has a question about the proposed budget? Yes?
I just have a question. Can you explain where the $3.5 million deficit is coming from?
$3.5 million deficit.
Isn't that what you said?
Amendment 2 for 25-26.
Are you referring to this slide?
Yeah.
That $3.5 million for Amendment 2?
Yeah.
That's due to the current trend with expenditures within the district for the 25-26 school year. So that brings in everything from salaries to snow plowing to benefits, the benefit increases that we've seen, to software costs increasing. It's a culmination of it all. But that's what that $3.5 million deficit is.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the audience on the proposed budget? Okay, very good. Thank you. The budget hearing is closed, and we'll move on to our regular meeting and start where we always do with the superintendent's report.
Thank you, President Van Antwerp. We have a bond project update. Russ Gerber, our Assistant Superintendent of Operations, will provide the board with an update.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent Edwards, appreciate it. We're going to give you guys a brief update on what's taking place at Woodland and Amberley now, because we got Amberley started this summer as well. And then we're going to bring you guys through where we're at with the schematic design of England Road as well. So we're going to start off with Woodland Elementary. There's a standard first slide. You'll see just the overall picture of the school as you're looking, facing the entrance of the building. Things are happening. You're seeing a lot of installation taking place. You look closely, you can see the canopy take shape at Woodland. So there's the canopy. Obviously, it's not done yet, but that's the structural framework for the canopy taking place. You see the installation, the yellow and the yellow back there is the installation of the building, and then the green slats are what they're going to adhere the outer shell to. Going a little too quick. They're getting prepped to, these are from last week, so they're getting prepped to floor the floors, and this is where they'll put the carpet over top the floors. If it's polished concrete, then they'll polish that portion of the concrete, but this is the admin office suite area. Here's an example of the learning community area. You can see this floor is done. They'll come back through a carpet when it's time. But right now they're getting ready to start putting up the framing to frame out the classrooms and the different workspaces and everything in that space. Here's an example of the kitchen area. They're getting ready to pour the floor in the kitchen. In the back there, they did some work in the electrical rooms, getting that floor poured as well. Here's an example of some of the framing taking place in the back portion of the building. This is, I believe, the second, third grade wing. They got the framing of the classrooms going back there. Once the framing's in, as they're doing the framing in, the electricians are coming in, putting in all the conduits for electrical. I did have a picture of the electrical breaker with wires getting pulled and everything, but I figured that's kind of boring, so I didn't put that on there, but there's wire and everything as well. So that's great to see. Here's the upstairs. They've been working on the upstairs a little bit longer. You can see it's a little bit further along. You see where you put the glass doors are are in for the classrooms. They're there, they're framed and ready to go. You can see some, if you look in the very top part of that slide, you see like, it looks like brownish tubes. That's the roof drains going through the building. See, so the plumbers have been there, electricians been there. It's going pretty good. They're moving right along with the inside. Here's a peek at the outside. You can see the brick is up and looks really nice. They did a really good job. They wash it as they go. It's really turning out nicely. You're looking at the building from the kids will look at the building when they're coming in from recess. Moving on to Amberley. Amberley is just one slide. It's an exciting one. We removed the 5 classrooms off the side of Amberley to get ready for construction. That's where we're at. They're taking care of they're getting ready to do all the earthwork movement here in the next couple of weeks. So there'll be a lot of trucks coming and going, moving earth around. Once that's done, we'll start putting in the foundations and start building up from there. But Amberley's, we're doing, it's where it's at right now. We're hoping once we get started on the earthwork and everything, we can get caught back up, but it's just a little delayed right now.
You moved really fast. Did all the people get out of the building in time? I mean,
Oh, yeah. Well, it was 5 classrooms. It wasn't the whole building this time. But no, the teachers did a great job getting their stuff packed out. Then the custodians, maintenance department came in and took those boxes to the cafeteria where they're staged. And then as they clean the classrooms during the summer cleaning, we'll be moving the stuff to the appropriate classrooms for the teachers, so it's ready to roll for the start of the school. That's the Woodland Amberley update. Is there any questions on that before we start talking about schematic design for Angling Road? Okay, perfect.
I have a quick question.
ma'am, we have to wait for public comment. Thank you.
Perfect. So we're going to go over to Angling Road now, and we're going to talk about schematic design. This will give you guys a chance to see how the design's coming along for Angling Road. I'm going to bring Doug Milburn from Tower Pinkster and Tom Stanek from OAK to kind of go through this part of the presentation for you as well, and then available for comments after.
Good evening, Board Trustees, Superintendent Edwards. As Russ mentioned, so we're here to share kind of a snapshot in time of where we're at with the Angling Road Elementary project. Similar to the previous projects, every project that we've been designing for the elementary projects is utilizing the district's guiding principles that help make sure that that the projects are all aligning with the desires of the district at the conclusion of the projects. Similar also to previous projects, we, during some student and staff engagement sessions, really listen into each building's community, and then that helps foster the creation of a design statement. And so then this is utilized by our design team members, just a constant check to make sure that we are aligning design decisions with an overall or overarching goal for the project. And this is a mood board that our interior designers and architectural designers have put together, just kind of showing some of the directions that the finishes will be taking to, again, respond to the design statement and just what we've heard during engagement sessions with students and staff. This is just an overall view of the new site for Angling Road Elementary, trying to preserve as much of the wooded area as we can. And then similar, to other projects, you've got the building, you've got the staff parking lot, the parent drop-off, and then separating parent drop-off from bus loops, and then at Angling Road, just due to the site, able to utilize the same drive for bus loop as well as service access for building services.
Take a quick pause there. This is the first time you guys are seeing this portion of the slide deck. This is a new property that we're obviously purchasing here soon. Is there any questions that the board has with this layout as it sits right now?
Can you explain the driveways?
Yeah, so the one on the right that shows that's kind of right in front of the building, that's the bus loop. And then up, instead of the bus turning left, service vehicles will go up to the right. And then we have a parent drop-off and parking lot entry over to the west. And then the parent drop-off will circle all the way around that parking lot, drop off near the front entry plaza, and then exit back out trying to really get as many cars off of the road as we can, understanding that that's a major challenge in that neighborhood. Drop off and pick up every day. So really try to utilize the benefits of this new site to pull as much of that traffic off of the roadway as possible.
Thank you.
Yep.
That sketch to the left at the top, that's the existing home that's there, that's staying there? Okay.
Yeah. Kind of in the little,
Yes.
yep.
I noticed right away the extended, call it, parent drop-off, and with more and more parents providing transportation, that is well appreciated.
And I guess also with that parent drop-off entry, trying to move it as far away from the corner as we could, just for, general traffic interactions every morning and every afternoon. Any other site-related?
Just say, appreciate you, the plan protecting as much of the wooded area as possible. It's always emotional when trees come down, and
Yep.
appreciate you maintaining as many as possible.
Yeah, and just, I guess, on that point, how we oriented the building, the learning communities, which you'll see later slides showing the floor plans, they're oriented more towards the north of the building. So on the north side, east side, west side, you'll have views out to the woods, similar yet different from kind of what you experience at Hayward Hill as you look out those northern learning communities.
We're also gonna take an exercise where we're gonna stake the corners of the building, walk out there and see if there's any trees that we're like, ooh, let's see if we can adjust the building slightly this way or slightly this way to protect some more trees. Because obviously, we're going off a survey and just kind of putting the building, we want to get out there in the field. Once we have the perimeter of the building solidified, we will stake it and figure out if we want to shift it a little here or there to try to save some trees.
It's such a thicket there now that it's really hard for anybody to imagine what trees might be in there.
From the road, yes.
Yes.
Once you get 100 feet in, giant trees. So there is some, it's
Amazing.
gonna be really nice tree cover in the back there, to provide a big buffer from that one road behind the new school to the school. There's really nice forest right there.
Great, that's good to hear, because you're right, you can't see anything from the road.
Yep.
Is it typical with a parking lot to have one single point of entry and exit?
I mean, generally nowadays, just to help traffic flow. Otherwise, we did look early on at having multiple points of entry, and then you're having essentially a stop, four-way stop, two-way, however many directions on the site, because you've got two sets of cars converging, trying to get to the same parent drop-off. And hopefully with, I don't remember the exact quantity of cars that we can stack in this, but hopefully that will help alleviate some of the traffic congestion at the road, just having longer queuing on site.
Well, and you don't want queuing backing up on Vincent Drive there.
We're trying to avoid that,
Yeah.
possibly, yes.
And
We're
I'm,
also trying to make sure we have one parent drop-off loop and where another one doesn't form just because it's there. One loop for the safety of the kiddos. You don't want different loops going because some kids know about the second one and it can be a little dangerous for the little ones.
and would it be fair to assume that sidewalk will be extended all the way around the corner, or?
Oh, on Vincent?
Yes.
We don't have, right now the plan is to bring the sidewalk into the school from both the north and the south.
Okay.
There's no sidewalk plan to go around the front of the school all the way around the corner.
Yeah, on the north, you can kind of see it in the upper left corner of your site. That little winding path is bringing the sidewalk.
Oh, that's the sidewalk,
Yeah.
okay. So there will be no sidewalk on the east side coming in from the east?
So there'll be a sidewalk coming in from the church. That's see that little question mark on the design there?
Oh, yeah, no,
That's the
I
sidewalk
see
coming
that.
in.
I see that.
And on the west side of the site, there's that curve coming.
Yes, I see
through the
that
woods.
too. Thanks for clarifying.
I guess the only other site-related item is in the top right corner of your property. There's a detention or retention pond that the city of Portage put in when they built the neighborhood to the north. So that will remain. We're trying to not disturb that, so then it's the city's to clean up and to manage. We did explore adding our stormwater runoff to that same pond, and it just was better for us to keep them separate. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share on that.
No, I think we're
Okay.
good.
Good about the site? All right, and then similar to previous projects, again, what we hear during the student and staff engagement sessions helps drive our design drivers as a project team that allows the building to respond to that specific community. There's parity on, learning studios, learning commons, certain elements, but then other priority spaces, as we've come to call them, get to kind of bring out that specific school's community or culture, and these design drivers are what help drive those design decisions. So very early on schematic, we started just kind of putting all the various building blocks together and seeing how the building would take shape. And this represents the first floor, just a expanded, more developed schematic design floor plan. Again, learning communities on the north side, the south side being more of that opening, welcoming area that the general public will come to and utilize. This is showing the second floor, learning studios and support spaces. This is looking at an axon view, so you just took the building and some height, just sliced through it and tilted it on an angle, just kind of showing more 3D geometries and just understanding of the various spaces and the connections of the learning communities to each other, learning communities to the heart, and as you enter main entry, gym, cafe, front office.
Is the heart similar to Haverhill?
So in design, yes, it's not as public facing. This community wanted it more on the private side, but it is the larger, gathering stair type of design. I can't remember if we have a 3D graphic in here. Okay, yeah, we'll show that in just a minute. So this is a second floor, same principle, the axon, just showing kind of 3D spaces and the arrangement and organization of them. This is the early exterior rendering of just, as the building starts to take shape, the front entry plaza, front entry canopy, and then just the overall geometry of the building itself. And this would be more from a, car pedestrian view, just looking at that front entry plaza and the front entry. Going inside the building, this is kind of the welcoming living room, the front of the building. And this is that gathering stairs, so design-wise, yes, similar to Haverhill's design versus, a central thought more appropriate for them, but it is back behind the secure perimeter, so less public, more private. And this is looking at the cafe space. Interior view of the library. Looking at those learning commons, learning studios on the north side of the building. That turn over, Tom.
So from a budget perspective, we normally start with a conceptual budget at a 10,000 foot level view based on what we've done already, what has been designed on the previous projects. So that's kind of that starting point with square footage numbers, and happy to share that we're actually tracking very well through the schematic design. We're about just under $500,000 less than that original budget, and then we will continue to do a DD budget and report that back to you once that is completed there. So to date, we're tracking very well with where things are at. So. And then just from an overall perspective of the general schedule there, so we anticipate that we are going to probably do some tree removal in the early part of 2027, so that aligns and helps us to get ready with the building construction starting in the spring of 2027. And then as far as completing that, it will be the summer of 2029. So everything is tracking well with the project to date, both from a budget and a schedule perspective.
So this is our ST phase of the design process. We still have to go through DD. We have meetings with staff and engagements there as well. So what you saw today, some things will change. Just know that I've never seen a project SD end up being the final result, but this is where things are tracking. We'll go back to continue, now that we have the SD pricing done, we'll start the DD design process and go through that and just make sure everything aligns, make sure we're happy with everything. And then we'll go out to bid, get the building started in spring of 2027. Any questions?
Very good, thank you. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we'll move to our comments and communications section. Are there any citizens that wish to address the board this evening? And I guess there are, and we will have our secretary, Terry Novaria, read our guidelines for public comment, please.
Public comment at board meetings. Board of Education meetings are held for the purpose of conducting the business of the school district. The board recognizes the importance of letting the public express themselves on district matters and welcome community input at our board meetings. To permit fair and orderly public expression, please conform to these guidelines when addressing the board. Attendees must register their intention to speak during the public participation portion of the meeting by completing the speaker registration form at the beginning of the meeting. Each speaker must provide their name, state whether they reside within the district boundaries, and specify the topic of their remarks. Individuals may not register others to speak. Speakers will be recognized by the presiding officer and may not be called in the order in which they have signed up to speak. Limit comments to 3 minutes. Direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. Speakers may not yield any of their speaking time to others. Provide a written copy of your comments and supporting documentation to the board secretary if available. Present your comments in a respectful and courteous manner to model the behavior expected of Portage students. Refrain from mentioning any student or individual by name. Contact the superintendent directly regarding personnel matters. The board has a legal obligation to protect the due process rights of students and employees. Typically, concerns raised by speakers during public comment are best addressed through the established chain of command. Board policy delegates resolution of operational concerns to the superintendent for further action.
Thank you, Terry, and we welcome our first speaker tonight, Kayla Fernstrom, please.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Kayla Fernstrom. I live on Sandhill Lane in Portage. I stand before you tonight not only as a parent, but as someone who believes every child deserves to walk into school feeling safe, protected, and ready to learn. The Michigan Constitution states that our state shall maintain and support a system of free public schools for every child. That promise means more than simply opening the doors each morning. It means providing an environment where students can actually access their education without fear. When a child is afraid to come to school, when families question whether their concerns are being taken seriously, when there are allegations of child abuse from inside the building, or when students feel unheard, their constitutional right to an education is compromised. Over the past month, many parents have come before this board asking reasonable questions about Angling Road Elementary. We have not demanded perfection. We have asked for transparency. We have asked whether district policies were followed and what those policies are. We have asked whether witnesses were interviewed. We have asked about safeguards and what is going to protect our children going forward. Those questions have remained largely unanswered. As elected leaders, your responsibility extends beyond managing budgets and improving policies. You are entrusted with protecting the welfare of thousands of children. Parents should never have to wonder whether procedures were followed after a serious incident involving students. But here we are. Every decision made by this board sends a message to students and families. Tonight, you have the opportunity to send the message that student safety comes before protecting reputations. It comes before everything, that transparency matters, and that every child deserves to feel safe in our schools. I ask you to ensure that investigations are thorough and impartial, that communication with families is timely and honest, and that accountability applies equally to everyone, regardless of their position or who they are. Our children are watching how the adults in this district respond when their safety is called into question. My children are watching. Let us show them that their voices matter, their well-being matters, and that the adults entrusted with their education will always put them first. Because no child should ever have to choose between feeling safe and receiving the education they are guaranteed under the Constitution. Thank you.
Thank you, Kellen. Our next speaker is Dustin McLean. Welcome.
Good evening, board members. My name is Dustin McLean. I live in Portage Public Schools area. And I'm here tonight because I'm deeply concerned about what continues to happen at Angley Road Elementary. I've listened to discussions about monitoring reports and improvement plans, but after years of concerns, I need to be clear. The monitoring report is not enough. Parents have been raising concerns for years at this school. We've followed the process. We've spoken with school leadership. We've escalated concerns to the superintendent and his staff. We've attended meetings, sent emails, documented issues. Yet despite all that, we're still here after more than 4 years of issues. The principal has stated she does not believe there are significant issues at the school to some of us parents. I've personally spoken to the superintendent about these issues. He's told me this is too small of an issue for him to deal with and to deal with his staff. His staff has not taken care of these issues that we raised at the start of this school year. If the principal doesn't want to believe there's a problem, the superintendent isn't going to look into it or even get back to us to see if things have gotten better. Where are parents supposed to go? Beginning of the school year, we had a meeting with the superintendent and his direct staff, and again, nothing hasn't only not happened, things have gotten worse and no one has followed up with us on any of these issues. We've been lied to by the principal. She doesn't show up to meetings. She sets up with staff and the parent-teacher conferences or the parent-teacher association or with feedback sessions with parents. When will things improve? How will improvement be measured? We'll be held accountable if improvements never come because families should not be sent in circles while problems continue to exist. At the start of this comment section, you tell us that we should be going to the superintendent. He's not doing anything. He says he doesn't have time for issues at this school. And to deal with someone that's been there for 4 years and hasn't gotten any results at that school. Also, on the allegations that a student was physically struck, I did a FOIA request. Found out we were told that there was insufficient evidence to prosecute. That's not the same thing as that an incident didn't occur. A student stated it happened. A staff member saw it and reported it to the police. The principal denied it happened at all. So is an investigation happening to find out who's lying and shouldn't have their position anymore? Why was the principal not placed on administration leave while an investigation was happening? Admin leave is not a finding of guilt. It's a common step used to protect the integrity of an investigation and maintain public trust while an investigation happens. Instead, the principal remained in her position throughout the investigation. Many parents, staff members, and students has created a perception that district leadership had already decided who they believed before the investigation was complete. Whether that perception is fair or not, it exists, and it's a real perception. I'm asking this board, what factors led to that decision? What messages do you believe it sends to students, staff, and families involved? I'm also concerned about hiring and oversight practices. Why is the district doing to ensure thorough exit interviews are done with staff when they leave? If we're serious about improvement, we should be carefully listening to the people who choose to walk away. And how are leadership candidates being vetted before they're placed in positions of authority over students, staff, and public resources? This principal was under investigation. Again, you can find this out with a FOIA request for assaulting a parent at a school. Parents deserve confidence that hiring decisions are based on rigorous evaluation, that potential concerns are thoroughly reviewed and considered. Most importantly, what changes are being made to ensure future hiring decisions are more transparent, more accountable, and more effective. And again, I want to talk about accountability. For the last 4 to 5 years, concerns continued at the school. We've heard discussion about improvement plans, monitoring, and future progress. What we've not heard is who ultimately is going to be held responsible as these continue to fail. Every organization defines outcomes. Every organization measures results. Every organization holds leadership accountable, but not this school board. That hasn't happened at all. So tonight, I'm not asking for another report. I'm asking for measurable goals. I'm asking for clear timelines. I'm asking for transparency. And I'm asking to know who's responsible for delivering the results and what will happen if they're not achieved. Because after years of concerns, escalations, and promises, students, families, teachers, and staff of this district deserve more than assurances that improvement is being monitored. They deserve results. They deserve accountability. And accountability without consequences is not accountability at all. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Doug. Our next speaker is Anna Hellner, please. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Anna Hellner. I live at 9950 Wexford Drive. I'm 16 years old and I've attended Portage Public Schools for 12 years. I'll be starting my junior year at Portage Central High School in August. As you may have noticed, I have an NG tube, also known as a nasal feeding tube. I've been dealing with health issues for a few years now. I began using my feeding tube in October of 2025. One thing that has truly helped me feel more confident and safe returning to school after my time in the hospital has been the presence of a certified nurse, also known as an RN, at my high school. When I was at school and I was struggling to reinsert my tube after it fell off, I knew that there was someone there to help me with medical training. I also, during times when I was sick at school and had thrown up multiple times in a day, I had someone at my side who understood what I was going through and how to manage a chronic condition such as my own. I understand that the grant for nurses in our school district has expired. However, I believe that removing school nurses from our school system is a terrible decision. You may think that my situation is severe, and while that may be true, many students at Portage Public Schools face severe allergies, asthma, chronic conditions, and temporary or permanent injuries. Having a nurse at school provides these students with the support and care that they need to continue their education properly without being sent to being homebound. Statistically speaking, 1 in every 13 children will experience a severe food allergy that leads to anaphylaxis. According to the American Heart Association, individuals with medical training tend to respond to emergencies almost instantly, whereas people without medical training tend to take 3 to 5 minutes to respond to an emergency. And in an emergency, seconds count. Studies done by the National Association for School Nurses show that schools with full-time nurses show lower absentee rates, higher graduation rates. It also saves educators time, allowing teachers and administrators to focus on education, saving up to 2 hours daily. Furthermore, the presence of school nurses are essential for the safety of both the parents and students. In fact, 79% of parents say that having a school nurse would influence their decision of whether or not to send their child to a school district. And if we are talking about losing our students, this is something that can help. Let's consider some of the statistics. Over 25% of students manage a chronic condition, such as asthma, diabetes, or epilepsy. Moreover, 23% of children aged 3 to 17 are diagnosed with behavioral or mental health conditions, and school nurses are trained to assist with these situations. Chronic absences are often resulted from health-related factors, significantly impact a student's attendance and academic success. It is difficult to succeed if you are unable to attend school. I missed about a month and a half of my sophomore year of high school. And without the presence of a school nurse at Central, I would have likely missed significantly more. I cannot emphasize enough how much I learned from simply being able to attend school. So please take some time and consideration before deciding to remove school nurses from our district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, Anna. Our next speaker is Carolyn Leslie, please. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Leslie. I am the president of the PSPA, which is Portage Public Schools Union for Paraprofessionals and CNAs. I live in the district. I work in the district. Today, I am going to speak on behalf of one of my CNAs who has lost her voice. She said, working with children isn't just a job. It's my passion. Every day, I have the privilege of caring for and supporting students, and I truly love what I do. I don't want to work anywhere else. I chose Portage Public Schools because I believe in these students. I believe in this district, and because the school schedule allows me to also be there for my own daughter. Tiffany's 5-year-old daughter has autism. She attends ABA therapy, speech therapy, and occupational therapy. Those therapies have changed her life. They've helped her communicate, grow, and gain skills that will help her become more independent as she gets older. As both a mother and a CNA at Portage Public Schools, Tiffany has seen firsthand how life-changing early intervention can be. But those therapies come at a cost. Affordable family health insurance isn't simply another employee benefit for her. It's what allows her daughter to receive the care she needs to thrive. Today, the final issues remaining in our contract negotiations are fair wages and affordable health care. These two issues go hand in hand. Our CNAs and paraprofessionals come to work every day because we love serving students. We celebrate their successes, we help them through difficult moments, and build relationships that matter. We are proud to be a part of their educational journey. We're simply asking for the ability to continue doing that work without having to choose between the career we love and the health care our families need. Fair wages recognize the value of the work we do every day. Affordable health care allows employees like Tiffany to continue providing her daughter with the therapies that are helping shape her future. No parent should have to wonder whether they can continue working the job they love because they can't afford the health care their child depends on. Investing in CNAs and paraprofessionals means investing in students. When employees feel supported, they stay. Students benefit from familiar faces, trusted relationships, and experienced staff who are committed to this district. We wear red today because we love Portage Public Schools. We are not here because we want to leave. We're here because we want to stay. We want to continue serving the children of this community while also being able to provide for our own families. We respectfully ask for your support as we continue bargaining for fair wages and affordable health care. Your support isn't just an investment in employees, it's an investment in the students we all care so deeply about. Thank you for listening, and thank you for standing with the people who are proud to serve Portage Public Schools every day.
Carolyn, are those your remarks on the podium? Did you leave them there? Okay.
That's it.
Okay, no, that's good. Thank you for coming. Thank you for introducing yourself. Our next speaker tonight is Elizabeth Holman, please.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Holman. I'm a paraprofessional at 12th Street. I stand here today to share my perspective. I have 4 boys, 1 who has graduated and 3 still enrolled. We have been at PPS for over 14 years, and when my youngest graduates, it'll be nearly 24. I've been a stay-at-home mom and took the leap to be a para. I also have a bachelor's in health and wellness and a master's of public health. As a credentialed public health professional, I am appalled by how little a wealthy district appears to value paraprofessionals. Every single day, paraprofessionals change diapers, manage behaviors, de-escalate crises, and put ourselves at risk of being hit and kicked or having objects thrown at us. Most people don't have to go to work every day facing those risks. Yet we show up. We show up for children with special needs. We are their safe people. Families trust us and appreciate what we do for their children. We greet students every morning, ready to support, encourage, teach, calm, redirect, and care for them throughout the day. Without paras, teachers would be required to deal with these significant disruptions without support, making education for the entire classroom as a secondary consideration. We are essential to keep students safe, classrooms functioning, and learning happening. I chose this job because I care about children and I want meaningful work. But caring about children should not require accepting poverty wages or worrying about losing affordable health insurance. If family insurance options are taken away, I know of multiple paraprofessionals who will need to seek other employment because they depend on it. Insurance is not a luxury, it's a necessity, it's a basic human right. It's discouraging to know that I can make more money working McDonald's than I do helping to support the most vulnerable students in our schools. That isn't just disappointing, it sends a message about how little this district values those children. We are asking to be valued, respected, paid fairly, and given the ability to provide for our families while serving those in the district. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Our next speaker tonight is Annette Hampton. Welcome.
I do not have written comments. I have an overall outline. I can share that afterwards. My name is Annette Hampton. As of 13 days ago, when I got officially divorced, I am a parapro at Woodland, and I have a degree in speech language pathology and audiology from Michigan State. My life experience with my 2 kids on the spectrum and all my having major sensory issues and mental health challenges has really prepared me to just be a really good parapro. And I love my job so much. And I feel like it's where I want to be the rest of my life. Unfortunately, since I just got divorced a couple weeks ago, I need to have enough money to support my family. So that is one of the major challenges, and that's why I helped write the Constitution and bylaws for our union and decided to be vice president, even though I'm not vice president material, because I'm like really motivated to make sure that all of us get what we need to have a livable wage. Yesterday I came across a site called unitedforalice.org. It's by United Way, and they rate different categories of poverty. So there is the federal poverty rate. And in Michigan, the federal poverty rate, the houses in poverty are 13%. That's the state average. And then there's something called ALICE, and that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, but yet employed. So asset limited, income constrained, employed. Households that earn more than the federal poverty level, but less than the basic cost of living for the county. While conditions have improved for some households, many continue to struggle, especially as wages fail to keep pace with the rising cost of household essentials: housing, childcare, food, transportation, healthcare, and a basic smartphone plan. Households below the ALICE threshold, households plus those in poverty, cannot even afford the essentials. So The population of Michigan, they say, is 264, well, I don't know if that's true, but the median household income is 71,000. State average is 72. So that must be, this must be for Kalamazoo County. Yes, this is Kalamazoo County. So population 264,780, number of households 108,759, median household income 71,000, and state average is 72,000. Labor force participation rate 64%, and state average is only 62%. Now, this is the key factor. Alice households, 24%, which is better than the state average of 26%, but it's still a big percentage. 24%, a quarter of Kalamazoo County is struggling financially. And then the households in poverty, the same as the state, 13%. So if you go 24 plus 13 is actually more, right? So, is that my timer? Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Our next speaker is Mike Quinn. Welcome, Mike.
Good evening, members of the board, Chair Van Antwerp, and Superintendent Edwards. My name's Mike Quinn. I've been in the Portage School District since 1985. Both my children and now my grandchild are in Portage schools, and I am currently working as a parapro at Portage Central Middle School. I am in a better situation than many of my fellow parapros in that I have great health insurance through the Veterans Administration. And as a senior citizen, I've got a pretty decent Social Security check, so I can afford to work for you. For a great many of my colleagues, that's not the case. We appreciate the bargaining that your departing head of human resources, I know I'm prohibited from saying his name, but he's been courteous, thoughtful, and has started to move toward what we need, but we're not there yet. The last offer would get us almost to 3/4 of a living wage in this area. And the insurance offered would not cover spouses or children, which many of my colleagues have. So as much as we appreciate the areas of agreement that we've been able to reach, we still need more to come up. I think it is really regrettable that the school has the resources to bring us up to a living wage and to provide insurance for the insurances that we need. And yet, if you're not paying a living wage, who else in the community has to make it up? Do we send parapros to food banks to get food stamps and other forms of assistance, see if they can qualify on Medicaid? That's just not right. So as much as I really enjoy working here, it saddens me that that parapros and CNAs are not adequately compensated. The last time I spoke to you was in the spring of last year. I was complaining about the math, but that's another rant.
Thanks, Mike. Our next speaker is Monet Everly. Welcome. Everly?
Monet.
Monet?
Oh, she left.
Left.
Okay, then our next speaker is Carol Vanderberg. Welcome.
My name is Chicken Scratch, and I have notes to keep myself on track, but I will be willing to offer it to you. I'm Carol Vanderberg. I work and live in the district of Portage. I love working in Portage. Good evening, Superintendent Edwards and Board of Trustees. As we all are on the eve of celebrating the 250th anniversary of our great country, we need to ask ourselves, is healthcare a need or a luxury? Sometimes we need information to make informed decisions. I believe every American should have access to good health care, especially people working hard and contributing good to our society. President Obama and his Congress made it a priority that the children of this country should have access to their parents' employer-sponsored health care through the age of 26. I am thankful that my husband had employer-sponsored health care that was able to get our family through our own daughter's health crisis. If he had retired, lost his job, been disabled, or lost his life, I believe my Becca might not even had access to the care she desperately needed. In January, she started having debilitating headaches and neurological symptoms that affected her mobility and speech randomly. Through testing, she was diagnosed with chiari malformation. Without her surgery, her neurosurgeon said she would be paralyzed within 2 years. Becca was able to have the surgery in April, and the headaches have gone away, and the surgery seems to be quite successful. She's been working a few hours a week since week 6 post-surgery. My husband will have to retire before my youngest daughter turns 26. I would like to be able to provide her with a benefit of insurance through 26. I am blessed to work with super caring, dedicated coworkers who want to do their best for their students and their families. We are passionate about making a difference and making our corner of the world a better place. Please consider this information when making your decision about healthcare for parents CNAs. Thank you for this opportunity to share.
Thank you, Carol. Our next speaker tonight is Sarah Barton. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, good evening. I'm not as organized as most of the people that came up here, so I apologize. I live in Portage. My child that I'm speaking in regards to goes to Woodland Elementary. I am very concerned about finding out that the nurse's contract was not renewed and there will not be a nurse available to my son. I don't know how many of you on the board have a child that currently or did attend school that has medical needs, but having a staff member as a nurse there for your child is very reassuring. My son does have some pretty high medical needs. I'm gonna put that down so I stop playing with it. I have been informed that a CNA will be on staff to replace the nurse. Nurses are much more educated than CNAs. I don't want to take anything away from the CNAs. They are trained by the nurse to do my son's care if the nurse is not available for some reason. But a CNA is not trained to meet the requirements that my son needs. He has to be cathed at school multiple times a day to go to the bathroom. And to not have somebody properly trained on staff to do that is extremely concerning. It specifically says in the CNA certification that they are to report specifically to a nurse that has all the training needed for them to be provided proper care. If there is not a nurse on staff, I'm highly questioning who these CNAs are reporting to. So I pulled up the job listing on the Portage Public website, and it says that these CNAs will be reporting to the teacher. Last time I checked, a teacher does not have a medical background to be properly making sure that our children are being cared for medically wise. I am asking for answers on how this came to conclusion that our district does not need a nurse on staff, because
my son is not the only child in Portage Public School that has medical needs. There are children at his school that I know have even more medical needs than he does. So I'm very much questioning how these children are going to be properly cared for to meet their medical needs. Not only that, but his 504 specifically states that there is to be a nurse on staff to meet his medical needs while he is at school. So if there's not a nurse on staff, who's going to be properly caring for my son to feel comfortable for him to go to school? Yes, there have been countless occasions where the school has called me to come up to school to help because there are other issues that I've asked them to call me for so they don't have to deal with them. Because luckily, I live a block up from his school. So I can very quickly get there because I work from home. Most parents don't have this availability to drop what they are doing and run up to the school, where I can get there in a minute or two. Multiple parents that I have talked to that also rely on the medical care that's being provided at school work 30+ minutes away. So CNAs, yes, they're great at what they do, but they are not meeting the requirements for what medical needs of some of the children that attend Portage schools. So I'm asking that you reconsider having a nurse on staff. I just have bullet points. I don't know if you want my bullet point notes. Sure. Okay.
Thank you for your comments, Sarah. Our next speaker is Kathy LePage. Welcome.
Hello, board members. I'm Kathy LePage. I live in Portage. I relocated here from the east side to Kalamazoo, of the Portage, 8 years ago. 2 of my sons have graduated. Parapro at Portage North Middle School. I took that job. I originally was at Marshbridge, but my student needed to be driven to Lansing or to Grand Rapids twice a week, so I went to the middle school. I love my job. I work in the special department at North Middle School, and I work with our lowest functioning students. Since my students are grown, I'm there every single morning. My school relies on me. My principal knows that if he needs me, he can call me from any classroom I'm working in, and I can handle any position. There are currently 10 to 15 positions of parapro in the Portage district, and it's mainly because you pay $15.20 an hour. I've been with the district 8 years. I make $16.17. I do not feel valued. This is not what our students deserve. But since I am there every single morning because I have the ability to be there, I am the first face that my students see getting off the bus. I'm the last face they see getting on that bus. They see me and they know they're going to be safe. They know there's going to be consistency. They know there's going to be support. If they're having a good day, they're getting my praise. If they're having a bad day, they listen to me, I listen to them. They can come to me with anything. I also have been with the resource room with one teacher for 5 years already. We are like an old married couple. We can finish each other's sentences. I'll go to do something, so I was just going to do that. When she has to attend an IEPC meeting or some other meeting, she knows that I can stay in that classroom and her classroom's going to run. My principal knows they don't have to get a sub. They just have to send in their body and I will run the classroom. That teacher's going on maternity next year, and I am really scared of what's going to happen. But my students depend on me. I love my job. Why do I stay? Because I love the students. And I have a master's in psychology. I can work somewhere else. I could work at McDonald's for more. We are forming a union to get better wages. We need to be appreciated. Portage School says this is a great place to work. Is it? When we're not appreciated. So thank you for listening and hearing a personal perspective.
Thank you, Kathy. Our next speaker is Amber Baradon. Welcome.
I apologize for not as formal. This is my first time attending, so I do not have it written down. I am speaking to you on behalf of not only an employee of Portage Public Schools, I am in the district, I work for Portage North Middle as an ESI parapro, but I'm also a special needs mother. The 3 children in the front are my kids that I've tried to wrangle together through this meeting. I apologize for the laughter from him, but our job, we get told multiple times through the year that we do a very thankless job, and then they continue to not thank us. They have, I won't say how I know this, but they have gone behind our backs and have notified teachers to basically watch us like we're children in the classrooms, and we are expected to teach these children on a fly. We have to walk into a room without keys half the time, without any understanding of what the lesson plan is for the day, and have to modify the curriculum literally in seconds to help these kids succeed and do their best. It is so frustrating some days that we have some teachers that are cooperative and are very helpful and will be right on top of it with us, and then we have others that just look at us like, it's not my problem. And it's like, okay, so each child has different disabilities. Even if every kid in that room has autism, they have different levels, they have different disabilities that pertain to that level of autism. They have different sensory issues, they have issues with other students that we have to combat as well. We have teachers that'll look the other way while our kids are being disrespected. I apologize. I have brought up numerous times when I have found fellow peers making fun of our students or highlighting negative things about them. There are 0 repercussions for it. And as a parent, that's extremely infuriating because one of the situations did involve my child. And I had to bite my tongue because I am an employee and I know to separate being a mom versus employee. But it did burn me up inside to know that when I'm bringing this not only to my boss, but my child's principal, and they don't care, it's very upsetting. As everyone's touched on, the rate of pay is extremely difficult for us to live off of. My gross at the end of the year was not even $11,000. I have 3 children with disabilities that have to have different therapies, they have to see specialists, they have to go through so much. It's not enough, it's not livable. And trying to survive the entire summer with absolutely no pay, we get no holidays, we get nothing. Christmas killed us. We came home, got back into our school routine to find out I had a check of $0 that I had to live off for an entire month. And I understand holiday pay wouldn't entirely bridge that gap, but it would have made it a little easier to get groceries and basic necessities that we need for our home. All we want is just the decent respect that everybody else in our district gets. In our school, the hallway monitors got treated with more respect than we got. And that was really frustrating because our job entails a lot, and we have to have care beyond measure for our job. We support these students in more than just educational means. We support them emotionally. We protect them like they're our own. And to end it, they expect us to do the job of a CNA without CNA pay, and it's hard. We're expected to go outside of our comfort zone, whether we like it or not, but we do it because we care about our students, and we will always meet whatever our students need. Thank you.
Thank you, Amber. Our last speaker this evening is Melvina Gillespie. Welcome.
Good evening, President, board members, and Superintendent. My name is Melvina Gillespie. I am the MEA representative for the Professional Support Association, which includes the paraprofessionals as well as the CNAs. Tonight, our message is simple. Paraprofessionals and CNAs, like every other group in this district, deserve health care coverage. Over the course of multiple bargaining sessions, we have been told that there's a protected deficit. We have been told that there's uncertainty about state funding, federal funding, and even uncertainty about who the next governor would be. And we've heard tonight as well that the projected deficit will dip into the fund balance to 12.7%. We understand uncertainty. Our members live with it every single day. They are uncertain whether they can afford to take their child to the doctor. Do they have to wait until their child is so sick that they have to go to the emergency room to find out that they have cancer? We have health care coverage. They deserve it. They are uncertain on whether or not they can choose to remain in this profession. Can they afford to stay here and work in this wonderful district? So we do understand uncertainty. The question is this: what are your priorities? Budgets are value statements. They reflect what an organization prioritizes. This district has invested millions of dollars in beautiful facilities. We saw that tonight. We appreciate those buildings. They're beautiful. But let me tell you this. The buildings do not teach children. Buildings do not calm a student in distress. Buildings do not assist a child with disabilities. Buildings do not safely transport a student. People do. Our paraprofessionals and CNAs and bus drivers are essential to this district, to the success of every single student. Our paraprofessionals and CNAs, as well as some of our bus drivers, they deal with those, they assist with those students who have disabilities. They do feeding tubes. They assist with catheterization. So we want to make sure that you are putting the people that work in this district as a priority. We know you appreciate them, but show your appreciation in your action. Give them health care coverage and a livable wage. Thank you.
We'd like to thank Malvina and again thank all of our speakers tonight. We appreciate you coming out and sharing your viewpoints. And with that, we'll go to trustee comments, please.
Randy, I'll go first. I want to thank our speakers. I was taking a few notes. Comments were thoughtful, heartfelt, passionate, emotional. Speakers acquitted themselves very well. And I want to thank those who didn't speak. There were several long presentations beforehand, and you sat respectfully through them, and I really appreciate that.
Anyone else?
I wrote down here, thank you for coming, because whether you're here to inform us or whether you're here to give us accountability, either way, you're participating and we appreciate it. And well-spoken ones. Thank you to the young men sitting in front here. I know it's hard to sit, and you have done amazingly. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay then, we'll move to our consent agenda. We have one item on the consent agenda tonight. That's the June 15, 2026 special meeting, committee of the whole work session and closed session. Are there any exceptions to the consent agenda as provided? Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved. And we'll move to page 13, our first required action tonight, and that's the amended budget appropriation resolutions for 25-26. Is a motion, please?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the resolutions for the general fund, debt retirement fund, building, site, and sinking fund, and school service fund budgets for the 25-26 year as presented.
Thank you, Mary Lou. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? We reviewed this last week. I don't think there's any news here. So then, all those in favor of approving the amended budget appropriation resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The budget resolution passes. Our next required action item is the 26-27 budget resolutions on page 31. Is there a motion, please?
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education approve the resolutions of the General Fund, Retirement Fund, and Site Sinking Fund, and School Services Funds, budgets for 26-27 as presented.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on this at all? Okay, then, all those in favor of approving the 26-27 budget resolutions, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The budget is approved. Our next required action item is to set the 2026 tax rates. On page 47, this is a routine item, summer tax being critical to our tax flow. Is there cash flow, I should say. Is there a motion, please?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the resolution to set 2026 tax rates for summer and winter taxes as presented.
Thank you, Terry. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the resolution to set 2026 tax rates, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes and the tax rates are set. Our next action item is administrative contract extensions. That's on page 50. Is there a motion, please?
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education authorize the superintendent to issue administrator contract extensions as presented, not to extend beyond June 30, 2028, and with additional compensation in the aggregate as approved by the board as part of the initial 2026-2027 budget.
Thank you, Bo. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Just to say, as we had mentioned, we may find a less clunky way to do this in future years. Yes.
I think we can. Okay, then, all those in favor of the administrative contract extensions, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. The contract extensions are approved. And we'll now move to our retiree proclamation. There's a motion, please, on page 53.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve the 2025-26 retiree proclamation as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And who would like to read the proclamation?
I'm happy to read if nobody else wants.
Great, Terry.
All right, proclamation, recognition, and commendation for retiring administrator. Whereas the following administrator has announced his intention to retire from Portage Public Schools, Brad Galen, Human Resources Director. And whereas this dedicated leader has faithfully served and supported the students, staff, and families of this community throughout his career. And whereas Mr. Galen has demonstrated exceptional leadership in the area of human resources by fostering a positive, supportive, and professional environment for all employees of the district. And whereas he has devoted countless hours to meeting the needs of staff, administrators, students, parents, and community members, often extending his service beyond the regular workday. And whereas it is fitting and proper that the Board of Education publicly recognize and commend his years of dedicated and distinguished service to the district and community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of Portage Public Schools hereby expresses its sincere appreciation and gratitude to Brad Galen for his outstanding contributions to the district and extends its best wishes for a healthy, happy, and rewarding retirement. Proclaimed this 29th day of June 2026, Portage Public Schools Board of Education.
Thank you, Terry. Is there any discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you. That sums it up.
Yeah, sincerest.
It's been a pleasure.
Mr. President, normally Brad presents the admin contract and we've approved that. But if it was okay, I do want to allow him to say any final words in his last board meeting as HR director, if he so desires. If he so desires.
His final words.
Yeah.
Other than go big red or something like that.
Well, I mean, I appreciate the NBA adapting the red color because, you know, it makes my Hoosier heart whole for sure. So I am happy about that. No, I'd just like to just say thank you for entrusting me for the last 13 years. So, and some of you I've served with almost that whole time. So you're probably sick of seeing me, and you'll have a better person up here to present in the future, starting next month's board meeting with some new teacher appointments that we're already working on. So, but it's truly been an honor to serve this district, and I will continue to be a fan, supporter, and cheerleader for this district in the months and years ahead. So thank you for your service, and it's truly been an honor serving with all of you.
Thank you.
Randy, if I can say one thing about Brad. You're the person at the district who is charged with negotiating labor contracts. And at many organizations, that person in the organization is not beloved by the labor groups. But the people in the labor groups here tell me how much they respect you, and how professional you are, and how decent you are to work with. And that's just a really unique thing. So anyway, thank you.
You can truly tell that Brad has always been committed to our district and its success. He's highly visible in the community, and the way he approached negotiations was a win-win for everybody. And we're going to miss you, sir, but we're pleased that we have Jennifer to work with. And remember, Brad, school districts are always looking for help, always looking for volunteers, and we'd be happy to sign you up, I'm sure.
I've had a few people offer some things.
Yeah, have you?
Great.
Best wishes to you, sir. Thank you. Okay, our next item is a discussion item, and that's the Instructional Empowerment Rigor Walk.
I'll be taking that one on behalf of Dr. Michael Pascal in his absence, recommending that the board approve this partnership with Instructional Empowerment with a tool called Rigor Walk. It's an instructional walkthrough tool that will help our principals next year as we move to an emphasis around instructional leadership, our focus on rigor within all of our classrooms, as well as an opportunity for us to move student achievement in a more profound way. This is a research-based tool. The initial cost exceeds $100,000, but that also includes the implementation plan to have the proper training that goes on in this program. After the initial lift of the program in future years, there's approximately a $1,000 fee per user as a license. We have vetted a couple of companies. We thought that this company and this product served our team the best. Administrators had an opportunity to have demos, to look at the platform. It is a web-based program, so they can go into their classrooms on their iPad if they choose, or Chromebook, and in 10 minutes or so get a good snapshot of what they saw in the classroom. And by extension, this tool provides a number of reports that principals can use with their staff at staff meetings or during professional development as a way to increase our rigor within our classroom. This particular piece serves as one foundation to our work to improve student achievement, and I'll be happy to answer any questions the board might have about this particular tool.
The $1,000 user fee, is that per year as well?
Yes, so that's an annual fee. It's currently built into the total price, but moving forward, essentially it's a $1,000 annual license fee per user.
How many users are there?
So we built in 35 users that would cover all of our building administrators as well as a few in central office. And we can have the ability to add or subtract one or two if we deem necessary.
Johnny, can I ask you a question about a nuance? So this is a tool that facilitates learning and especially leaders, but it's not a teacher evaluation tool, correct?
Absolutely.
So can you kind of talk about kind of the difference? That's a unique...
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Bo. So we do have required by law to evaluate all teachers. And we have something we call teacher observations, in which a principal is in their classroom for essentially a class period. They notate everything they observe. They have a post observation conference with the teacher. They do some version of a rating at the very end of the school year and says whether or not the teacher is effective or developing. This is different. This is not an evaluation tool. As a matter of fact, as principals go into classrooms, there is even not a space for them to document the teacher's name. It's more or less the time in which they were there, and I believe the subject area. So this is not designed to evaluate an individual teacher. It's about evaluating and observing what's going on in the classroom at that moment. It's a 10-minute snapshot. The goal is to get many snapshots over the course of a week, essentially a month, so that the principal and the staff can have a good picture of where the staff is in terms of instruction, where our students are in terms of learning. And we believe if we do this tool well, this helps to support that, which is separate and distinct of compliance by law. This is a step towards our movement around student achievement. We'll continue to do teacher evaluations because we have to do that, and that's required, and that's proper. But this is short, quick analysis exam to get a picture and keep moving along. Thank you.
Any other questions for Johnny?
Just two quick comments. The more that you share about this, the more that I think this will be a valuable tool for building relationship between the administrator and the teachers, but also just as we're seeking that higher achievement from students, I'm really excited to see the results.
Johnny, I think the entire board is supportive of principals prioritizing teaching and learning over general business management. But we're gonna have, general building management, we're gonna have to put your proposal on hold for right now because we have unfinished business.
Okay.
And in all the sadness of Brad leaving, we forgot to pass the proclamation. So given that's, you don't care if we vote or not. Well, and so in that case, let's make this a roll call vote, please, Barb.
Okay, let's do it. Mrs. Rohr?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mrs. Novaria?
Yes.
Mr. Van Antwerp?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Ms. Larson?
Absolutely yes.
Dr. Stevenson?
Yes.
Very good, thank you. The motion, the proclamation is approved. Brad, you can retire, I guess. All right, well, let's get back to business on the instructional empowerment here. Is the board okay with moving this item to action this evening? All right, is there a motion, please, to do that?
Mr. President, I make a motion that the Board of Education move the instructional empowerment rigor walk tool discussion item to action.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of moving this discussion item to action, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes, and now a motion to approve, please.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve a partnership with Instructional Empowerment Incorporated to implement the Rigor Walk Instructional Leadership System for the 2026 through 27 school year for a total cost of $110,985. The funding for which will come from the Instructional Initiative funding source.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving the instructional empowerment rigor walk tool, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Our next discussion item is the playground surface upgrade for Central Elementary in Haverhill. And Russ is back.
Good evening again, Board. Superintendent Edwards. I'm coming to you guys with a change order, and you guys know change orders of different levels require different approval. If it's under 50,000, I can approve it. Under 100,000, I can go to Mr. Edwards, he can approve it. Anything over 100,000, I ready for you guys to get approved. The playground surface upgrade is something I feel is needed for our students at all of our elementaries as we work through the new buildings. But when we got to, we opened up Haverhill and Central Elementary, we noticed that some of our students with wheelchairs or walking struggles are having difficulties with the wood chips that are put in the playground areas. These wood chips are ADA compliant wood chips, which means they do lay flat and make it meets ADA approval for kids to be able to use wheelchairs, and it should be more stable to walk on than your traditional wood chips. But we've been finding that it's just not working out the way we thought with our students. So what we're looked at is a product called Poured in Place. It's basically a rubberized surface that will replace some of the wood chips. I want to make that perfectly clear. The stuff is obviously expensive. We'll go over cost here in a minute. But we looked at our playgrounds and the way they are constructed, and we figured if we took this Poured in Place and placed it around different play apparatuses that are handicap accessible, that it would get the greatest bang for our buck, so to speak, in terms of students that can get to those apparatuses and not have the challenge of going through the wood chips. So each playground was looked at, Haverhill and Central L, with the lens of how can we get kids through the playground that are maybe in a wheelchair or in a walker, or just have walking struggles safely and effectively. And we came up with that design. We reached out to our playground vendor and our earthwork contractor to ask for quotes to get that installed at those two buildings. And the quotes came back, you can see on your paperwork, at $353,954 for both schools. It's broken down how much the earthwork costs and how much the actual pouring of the surface costs. This is one of those things where we start talking about inclusive play and getting students into the playground so they can be with their peers, as opposed to kind of, almost on the sidelines, if you would. So we feel it's important that we take the next step and add this Poured in Place into these playgrounds so we can make it more accessible and more inclusive for all of our students to be able to get to. We are looking at Woodland. We're actually looking at the layout of Woodland. The nice thing about Woodland versus Haverhill and Central, nothing's in the ground yet. So we can actually adjust where different things fall on the playground to hopefully, I don't want to say reduce the cost, but reduce the cost of how much Poured in Place is needed to get to students to different items. And then if you guys are good with this, we will move forward. We'll bring the Woodland cost to you guys as well, so you guys know how much Woodland costs. It is in the design of Amberley's playground that we're bidding out in about a year, and then it will be in the design for Angling Roads as well. Questions, concerns? I don't know if I hit everything you guys would need to know about the Poured in Place.
The squishy stuff, when you walk in it, can I bounce?
Yes, it is the squishy stuff. It reminds me of track surface, just a lot more squishier, and it has a longer lifespan than wood chips. You have to replace wood chips every so many years because they break down. This stuff will last about a decade, a little over a decade if treated correctly. And we'll have to, we'll be looking at it obviously in 10 years and evaluate it, much like your turf football fields. They last 10 to 12 years, so you have to evaluate them, see how they're holding up. You do the same thing with the Poured in Place.
About the other existing elementary schools like 12th Street, Light Center, North Ridge?
Great question. That'd be something as we go through the playground process of renewing their playgrounds, it'd be something that had to be looked at during that process. It's one of those things where if you don't have the apparatuses that are accessible, I mean, it does get the students in the playground more, but they don't have anything to play on. So as we go to upgrade those playgrounds, we definitely want to look at adding that as well.
I think you made a good point, and I want to highlight it about inclusion. And inclusion is more than just being physically present. Inclusion means being able to participate meaningfully. And that benefits not just the students who were designing those playgrounds to include, but it benefits all students because they get to participate in that inclusion just as much as their peers do. And I really appreciate you looking at more than just, yeah, they can physically go out in the playground and yeah, it's officially ADA compliant. You're looking at, does it actually work? Thank you.
We have a first grader at Angling Road Elementary, and he has a list of things he would like to see in his new school. He actually calls out inclusive playgrounds and wants to be able to, and he has a friend that has a wheelchair and wants to see this friend to be able to be out there with them. He also wants a buddy bench, which is a fun topic as well. But it's a nice letter. We're gonna save that to when we get to Angling Road and be able to talk more about it.
Thank you.
Hey, Russ, any chance these are made from any recycled materials? Because I saw a playground once that was made with, the surface was recycled tires. So.
It would not surprise me, but I cannot confirm or deny that at this time.
Just curious.
Any other questions?
And our contingency has plenty of funds, so
Yep,
that's
so
just a little piece, yeah.
I'll give you, I got those numbers too, because I kind of figured both. So both Central and Haverhill are about 1.4 million in contingency. So it would use up 11%, 14% respectively, 11% of contingency for Central with very little left to do, and then 14% for Haverhill, again, with little to do. I would ask if we could move this to action, we probably can get it done this summer. But if we have to wait till the July meeting, they're probably gonna be pushing it.
Yeah, I don't think we need time to study. Is everybody okay bringing this forward? Very good, then we need a motion, please, to move this to an action item.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education move the playground surface upgrade discussion item to action.
Thank you. Thank you. Now we need the motion to approve, please.
Mr. President, I move the Board of Education authorize as presented Owen Ames Kimball Company to issue a change order to add port in place to Central Elementary and Haverhill Elementary in the amount of $353,954, funds for which will come from the 2025 bond fund at the third series from the 2021 vote.
Thank you, Mark. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the playground surface upgrade, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. Playground's on the way. Thank you. Ryan, what would a meeting be if you didn't need something?
Don't want to disappoint. Evening, trustees, Superintendent Edwards. Tonight, I bring a recommendation that the Board of Ed approve the contract with Parkway Electric and Communications for video surveillance equipment and installation at the new Woodland Elementary School in the amount of $35,255, which does include a 10% contingency. The funds for this video surveillance project will come from the 2025 bond fund, third series from the 2021 vote. So just like Central L and Haverhill, we're following the same design principles to surveil the outside of the building and including the secure vestibule, and also installing network drops throughout the building if and when it's ever decided that we need to place cameras in other areas. And so that's consistent. We did that same thing with Central L, Haverhill, Woodland. Obviously, you'll see a recommendation for both Amberley and Angling in the future. And just reiterating that fact that we're trying to expand and make sure that our network gear can handle expansion in the future if that's something that we need to do. This was competitively bid through the formal RFP process. We received 5 responses. Parkway Electric was both the lowest, but also checked all the boxes. We've got a long-standing relationship with Parkway. Many projects, you've seen them in the district or heard about their work, so we're very comfortable with that. Happy to answer any questions that you have. You should have the bid tabulation sheet as well in your packet. And if possible, we would like to see this move to action tonight to also secure, not to get the work done right now because there's no place to put it yet, but as soon as it's ready, we can get that done and we can secure the better pricing right now.
Any questions?
Just a quick comment. Cameras protect us when things do happen, but they also protect when things do not happen. And with that in mind, I really appreciate you planning for future expansion.
Are we okay moving this item to action? Okay, need a motion to do that, please.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education move the Woodland security camera discussion item to action.
Thank you, Terry. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary Lou. All those in favor of moving this item to action, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes, and now we need a motion to approve, please.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education approve as presented a contract with Parkway Electric and Communications for video surveillance equipment and installation at the new Woodland Elementary School in the amount of $35,255, which includes a 10% contingency. The funds for this project will come from the 2025 bond fund, the third series from the 2021 vote.
Thanks, Terry. Is there a second, please? Thank you. All those in favor of the Woodland security camera purchase, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. At your seat, there is a motion for us to go into closed session, please.
Mr. President, I move that the Board of Education move into closed session pursuant to Section 8(1)(a) of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, MCL 15-268(1)(a), Section B(a), to consider the suspension, disciplinary action, or dismissal of an employee at the employee's request.
Thank you, Terry. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. This is a roll call vote, please.
Dr. Stevenson? Ms. Larson?
Yes.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Van Antwerp?
Yes.
Mrs. Novaria?
Yes.
Mrs. Crawford?
Yes.
Mrs. Rohr?
Yes.
The motion passes, and we're going to be going to closed session in this room. Bring up Barb, turn off the video equipment.
Where I used to rest.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Restroom too.